Welcome to show number 933, the 17th day of March. I'm Todd Cochran, your host. Strap in. Here it comes.
All right, people, I need a go, no-go for the Geek News Central podcast. Digital archive recorders.
We're go fly.
Microphone.
We're go fly.
Video feed.
Go.
Web browser.
Go.
RSS data stream aggregator.
Go fly.
Interflux Toddism suppressor.
All right, I'm confused.
Host readiness check.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
The Geek News Central podcast is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to go. Cue Todd in
5,
Button, who's got the button?
4,
There's no cause for alarm.
3,
Everybody hold on to something.
2,
Just press the button.
1.
Aloha and welcome to Geek News Central. My name is Todd Cochran. I'll welcome you to the show. Got a great show lined up for you today. And we're here in windy Honolulu. It was crazy this weekend. We had wind from 35 to 45 miles per hour with gusts up to 65. And that quantifies for a storm here in Hawaii. But the trades are nice and cool. It's beautiful to basically be in Hawaii right now, largely because the weather is just absolutely fantastic. It's about as close to perfect as one could get. So looking forward to a great week. But I got a great show lined up for you today. I want to give a warm welcome to the Ohana, all the longtime listeners and viewers of the show. Thanks for being here. And we've got a little bit of an interloper tonight. My daughter's standing outside the studio looking in, making faces at me and stuff, having fun. I think her attempt was to try to scare me or something. But anyway, I want to give you guys a warm welcome. Hey, if you're brand new to the show, hey, definitely want you to get over to geeknewscentral.com and check out all the great content on the website. Got lots of podcast, audio, video shows. We got this show, Geek News Central. We got Robot Underpants, The Gadget Professor, the new media show, our special media events as well, along with lots of great content. A popular article that's been up on the website here for the past 2 or 3 days is an article on the HTC One Max that was done by Andrew, one of our writers here at Geek News Central. But get over to the website, get signed up for the newsletter, get subscribed to the show via iTunes or whatever podcatcher you're using. We definitely want you to do that. That's the most important thing so that you don't miss a single episode of the show. And if you're signed up to the newsletter, you'll get all the show notes delivered directly to your inbox immediately following the show. I'll basically email you all the links that I feel are worthy of carrying into the newsletter. So as you guys may or may not have noticed, some of the links to the show notes, I cover some articles that are kind of self-explanatory, not really worth any more following as far as a link goes. So not all of the articles are being linked in the show notes. It's kind of my way of streamlining the show and trying to highlight the best of the best and stuff that I think you guys need to dig in deeper on. So working with the TriCaster tonight, playing around with some of the video stuff as well. So that is in play at this point. But again, I want to welcome everyone to the show. Hey, you can check out, you basically email me real easily. And really the best way to do that is really go to geeknews@gmail.com to email me. Of course, you can reach me on Twitter as well, @geeknews. So those are two ways to reach out. You can follow me on Google Plus or Facebook. Links will be in the show notes for that on where to go basically follow on those pages. So feel free to do so. Of course, you can follow the show on the Tech Podcast channel, on the Roku, on the Boxee, Samsung TV, Google TV, Chromecast. Basically, you can watch by the luxury of kicking back in your lazy boy. And that's the way we want you to watch the show sometimes. That's kind of a cool way to do that, just to kick back and check the show out. All right, let me go ahead and let me see what I've got in my immediate stack here for you tonight. Hey, let's take care of a sponsor spot first. And as you guys know, longtime sponsor here of the show, GoDaddy.com. And GoDaddy's got some great stuff for us this month as far as deals. Matter of fact, we had I got an interesting email this afternoon. The folks at GoDaddy, my rep over there, he emailed me and said, hey, we want you to drop a couple of codes and we want you to pick up a couple of codes. and I just wonder if they weren't getting a lot of traction on these two. But what they've done is they've made several offers. Now let me bring up see if I can do this without totally destroying everything here. I'm wrong button. Yeah, duh. So what they're doing, and all you got to do to get to the GoDaddy promo page at Geek News Central is scroll down the website. You're going to see something that says GoDaddy promo code. You click on that, and it's going to load the page. And what I did over the weekend is I made it a little easier for you to find all the codes and associated deals. It was kind of hodgepodgey before, but I've made a much better breakout for you so you can get the descriptions. But really what they've done is I've got a 32% off code and I've got a 25% off code. Now, my understanding is that 25% off your order includes new top-level domain TLD extensions that are out of free registration. So I have yet to test one. Again, I got this code this afternoon, but the promo code's GO25 off 5. Now, the 32% off your new purchases is still valid at GO32 off 1. We've got the 50% off new hosting plans, again, including a free domain by using 50host7. We got 50% off your first 12 months of business website builder with a free domain by using 50WSB7. And more importantly, the $2.95.coms are available as well for new or transfers. So they've really put together here a full package of promo codes for me to use. The 15% code, I'll keep advised on that one. That's the one that they had me drop today, but I will see if this 25% code, make sure it works with the new TLDs. If it doesn't, I'll put the 15% code back up on the website so that you can preview those and get access to them and really save money. And I've got a full bevy of codes for you. Now, one of the new products that they're promoting is basically a product that allows customers who are searching the web to find your business online. And they basically, GoDaddy wants to make sure it shows up everywhere that they're looking. So GoDaddy has a new product called Get Found. And Get Found publishes your business information on top sites like Google, Facebook, Yelp in a single click and attracts customers to your business. Again, visit GoDaddy.com and enter the promo code FOUND5 at checkout to save 10% on Get Found products and services. Some limitations do apply. But again, all those codes, the 20% off on renewal code is still active, still lingering there. So definitely check that out. But we definitely want you to take time and support our sponsor here at Geek News Central. Again, by going over to geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. I have a few more SEO optimizations to make on the website. You're going to be some changes on the landing pages, but definitely trying to keep that page in the, basically in the first search result is critical for me. And I'm falling, between like 7 and spot 7 in the second page. So anytime that you can link to that page, talk about my great products and services, either on Twitter or other places, is definitely appreciated. geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. Okay, so let me go ahead and switch topics here, and we'll get into the tech in just a few minutes. Of course, we had a new media show this past Saturday with Cliff Ravenscraft, podcastanswerman.com. A little bit interesting conversation going on with Cliff. And, there's a lot of, and I don't doubt Cliff and what he claims. There's a lot of podcasters out there that are making some extraordinary earnings claims. And sometimes I just get, my eyebrows raised a little bit when I hear stuff. I'm not doubting certain individuals, but other ones I am. This space is a highly dynamic. A lot of audiences are very loyal to the podcast that they listen to, and either support sponsors or products and services, maybe even buy products that podcaster is producing themselves and putting out, which is all good. But when someone tells me they're making $80,000 or $90,000 a month on a podcast, that I have to really examine that very, very closely. Believe me, if that was the case here, I'd have about 3 or 4 people working for me in the studio here too. Oh man! But anyway, We want your support by becoming an insider as well. So if you feel like the show's worthy, geeknewscentral.com/insider, 6.7 cents a day, starts out at $2. Of course, we appreciate everyone that's in it, no matter what level or maybe an annual contribution. $2, $5, $10, $15, or $25 per month is greatly appreciated at geeknewscentral.com/insider. So this weekend, had to take a little break, and I needed some breather time. Tried to come in the office, check email, get out. I didn't. I just really tried to stay out and do a little more family time. I took some time off for myself to kind of just read Cage. Every once in a while, you need to do that. I've been going hard since November, December, and really needed a little bit of ha-ha moment, and try to do that this past weekend, and it worked out okay. We're still working on the Geek News Central site. It's moving a lot slower than I wanted to, so I'm hopefully by June or sometime in the near future, we'll have the new rollout and everything converted to the multi-site. I'm really kind of, at this point, getting a little anxious to make that happen, but my team has been crazy busy doing things that, I guess for a better word, or explain is making sure that we can make payroll and everything else. That comes first beside my little pet projects. But we are looking for folks that want to use our products and services over at blueberry.com. If you want to get a free month, go ahead and use that promo code Geek News, courtesy of me here at Geek News Central. All right, so let's go ahead and let me switch gears here. And again, I want to just take just a second to say thank you to the Ohana, all the long-time listeners and viewers of the show. And if you're brand new, you're automatically on board as well. Many of you can't see it because I've kind of got the camera dialed in a little bit tighter tonight. But the Ohanasaurus back here, where it's basically our two Skype machines. The Ohanasaurus, some people ask me what's that's all about. And, our good friend out in Albuquerque, Sam Garcia, did the graphics for the Ohanasaurus. And really, Ohana, again, this big part of this thing about family is so critical. And I just really want to thank all of you for being for part of my family, my extended family, my family of listeners and viewers. It is absolutely appreciated, and I'm humbled by your continued support of the show here at 933 episodes on our march to 1,000. So what I want to do tonight is I want to go ahead and jump right into the news, and let me close a few browser windows here so that I can get ready to bring up the first article tonight. Boy, big news all over the interwebs, on the television today. Basically, scientists have announced, and a lot of people are saying there's someone's going to definitely be earning a Nobel Peace Prize, is that the physics community is saying that a Harvard team has found the first direct evidence of what's called cosmic inflation. Cosmic inflation happened right after the Big Bang. I mean, within like microseconds. They really are talking about some incredibly small numbers, and essentially what happened, and how this all took place is yet to completely be determined. But the universe expanded essentially, or the galaxy expanded faster than the speed of light for a certain amount of time, and it's a very small amount of time, but it did it's such a incredible amount initial on that it really it's something to behold, and it goes back to proving some of the stuff that Albert Einstein came up with in the early 1900s. So the discovery is a little bit tough to really wrap your head around. Astronomers specifically, what they discovered, and this is getting for the big eggheads here. It's called a twist of light called a primordial B mode polarization, and this refers to the swirling effect that enormous gravitational waves had on photons that escaped from the Big Bang, and served as proof that those gravitational waves actually exist. And as far as understanding the origin of the universe goes, this is, again, a very, very big deal, almost as big as Higgs boson back in 2012. Einstein basically hypothesized that these gravitational waves exist as ripples in the fabric of space-time, and scientists have been trying ever since to prove their existence, and these folks at Harvard feel they have done it. Now, they've been sitting on this information for 3 years. They've been working to disprove it for 3 years. So now the science community is definitely going to be looking at this data, and they're going to tear it apart themselves. But again, they looked at this for 3 years, looking at every alternative explanation for what they were seeing, and basically systematically ruled each of those issues out one by one. But they used one of the most advanced telescopes in the world, the Bicep 2 in Antarctica, to collect the data. So exciting stuff. This, again, been all over the web. And really, this inflation term has been kicked around really since about 1979, when Alan Guth basically Robert Dickey worked on this issue, and I'll have a link up to some of his stuff that he put up online, it's basically in some museums right now, talking about the growth of inflation and how that revolves around the universe. Now, if you scratch your head a little bit, don't worry. I'm scratching my head just a little bit too, but I think it's important. They say the universe itself is the galaxy is relatively flat. And we know that the galaxy continues to expand. The Big Bang expansion is about 13.7 billion, has happened over 13.7 billion years. And the first stars, basically started forming around 400 million years. And then there was just a matter of time this stuff developed. So all this started from I don't know how to just, they say it was something very, very small. And I don't know if that means like a pea or, and of course the question everyone continues to ask is, what is the universe or the galaxy, expanding into? And so anyway, some crazy stuff there on really what's going on with this news. And scientists are probably drinking a lot of champagne around the country. Now, the guy that who predicted the Big Bang discovery, who predicted this, basically was they went to his home and videotaped it. His wife is a physics professor as well, so they both were pretty overjoyed. And so it's a big deal in the science world. And as I said, they feel someone's probably going to win a Nobel Peace Prize on this, so time will tell. But I'm sure we're going to hear more about this as time goes on. Hey, I want to switch gears here. I want to talk about something that's happening in Wyoming and something that's happening in other states around the country when it comes to science. Wyoming has rejected science education standards over climate change. Now, what's been going on is that there's been a rework of science criteria, and it's called the Next Generation Science Standards. And basically, this standard provides states with a chance to update their science education goals to focus more on the scientific process. So far, 9 states and the District of Columbia have adopted the standards, but a few states have rejected them, and the few states that have rejected them has largely been over the evolution discussion. But in Wyoming, the evolution doesn't appear to be an issue. They don't appear to have an issue with evolution. Instead, the climate science appears to be the problem. So it appears that the issue appears solely to be with the implications of the science resolving climate change. So this is interesting that Wyoming is one of the first states to block the use of the Next Generation Science Standards, and through basically going through a budget provision. So it's an interesting move here. It's usually been the evolution thing that's gotten so many people bent sideways on this particular type of instruction that's been going on. So it just goes to show you that for a variety of reasons, folks are still a little bit leery of some of the new teaching techniques that are coming out. All right, let's talk just a little bit about the United States government giving up net oversight. The United States has declared it wants to stop being in charge of how the internet is run. The U.S. Commerce Department has announced, and actually let me bring up this article that was on the BBC for those of you that are watching. For some reason, they got Snowden's image on this page. I don't know why, but it's not necessarily about him. But the U.S. Commerce Department has announced its intent to hand over control to the wider net community. It has asked net overseers, ICANN, to work out how to shift from the U.S. government to an alternative body. It said it wants a successor controlling body made up of both private companies and government representatives. Now, a lot of people are, especially some congressmen, are very critical of this. They don't want the United States giving this up because they're worried that, a few foreign bodies that may be about censorship and a variety of other governmental type things that, some regimes do to try to suppress press and websites and speech are going to have a negative effect on the internet if they transfer their control. Of course, the way the internet came about meant that the United States remained ultimate control over how the network was operated. The process of stepping back from that began in 1998 with the creation of ICANN, the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers. Now, under contract from the U.S. government, ICANN oversees the net's addressing system that underlies everything people do online. And again, now it wants to go further and let ICANN run that addressing system without any United States interference. This is kind of an interesting move here. And a lot of countries have wanted this to happen for a while. But we will see if Congress allows it to happen. Because there are some people out there that are definitely not for this. I'm a little, I'm a little worried that, as long as the net stays free and open and not controlled, we'll see where this leads. But, one or two bad players, and this could turn into a ineffective United Nations type thing. So we will see what happens here. But I think we all should keep an eye on this, and I definitely will. All right, do you guys know Veronica Mars? Are you familiar with Veronica? Well, almost a year ago, there was a Kickstarter that was done. Film studio had worked out a deal with the producer and actors of the popular Veronica Mars TV show that it could prove demand for a film via Kickstarter. So what they did is they were required to raise $2 million. They actually raised 5.7. Warner Brothers came in, kicked in the rest. They made the movie. The movie came out to very good reviews, but this is where Warner Brothers totally mucked it up. Some of the folks that were part of the Kickstarter they basically said within a couple of days of its release, they would receive a digital copy of the movie. And what Warner Brothers did is they called upon their video distribution service, Flickster, which is absolutely horrendous. And basically, they wrapped this thing up in DRM, and the DRM known as Ultraviolet, and basically sent out notices to all those folks that, hey, pick up your digital copy. And here's some of the responses from the people that went over there to get their video that they had been promised as part of the Kickstarter. My first and last time using Flicksters or Ultraviolet, Jennifer Gottfried wrote, not happy about what a pain the digital download is, but love the movie. Karen O'Neill said she felt ripped off, adding, I will not be supporting anything VMARS related in the future and may never support a similar Kickstarter project again. Others labeled Flickster unreliable, crap, slow, and punishing, and those who downloaded the movie without a hiccup, and there are those who downloaded the movie without a hiccup, and those who did have been basically effusive in their praise, yet the majority expressed dismay. There's an awful lot of angry folks. So this is where Warner Brothers, once again, wanting to control, because they're worried about the movie getting out on the internet, which, guess what? It's already available on peer-to-peer, because people were so pissed off, they basically packaged it up, made it available for download. So anyway, it just goes to show you these big media companies have yet to figure it out. Okay, so let's talk about Bitcoin for just a second. Dorian Nakamoto has denied again any knowledge of the Bitcoin or the cryptography that goes along with it. He actually hired a lawyer, and so his statement says this: I did not create, invent, or otherwise work on Bitcoin. I unconditionally deny the Newsweek report. His statement read, the cryptocurrency Bitcoin, of course, we know, was introduced in 2009 by a person calling himself Satoshi Nakamoto, but the man profiled by Newsweek says the magazine got the wrong guy. He says the first time, and again, it goes on, but he basically is asking people to leave him alone, and yet the folks at Newsweek continue to stand behind their story. This thing continues to get press even today, but this guy actually hired a lawyer to go out and make a statement, written statement for him. So it is an interesting move for, just like it's almost like he's trying too hard. If he kept his mouth shut, maybe people would go away a little bit. I don't know. Hey, Google's rolled out a cross-platform iOS/Android gaming with Play Game services. And essentially, most people, when they play iOS, they can play head-to-head with other people's on iOS, and people who have an Android can play head-to-head with folks on Android. But Google's launching an API for developers that basically allow games to work a lot like Xbox Live. It enables developers to easily set up achievement leaderboards, multiplayer, and cloud. And the cloud saves basically using Google's cloud infrastructure and development API to do the multiplayer between the two OSs. So it's kind of a cool thing. We'll see where this leads. And you'd surprised that these games already don't talk to each other across different devices, but they don't in most cases. Big landmark ruling this past Friday. On Friday, a federal judge has, and let me see if I can, yeah, there we go. On Friday, a federal judge ruled that streaming radio service Pandora will continue paying their same royalty it was previously required to pay to songwriters through 2015. In her opinion, U.S. District Judge Denise Cote wrote that Pandora must continue paying the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers, ASCAP, 1.85% of its revenues from the year 2011 through 2015 to use ASCAP songs on its streaming media service. The ASCAP folks wanted 2.5. They didn't get it. So the judge didn't raise it, but again, Pandora had hoped for 1.71, but that definitely a big hit for artists, but a win for Pandora. And of course, it's just about the same rate that the radio folks pay. So if we can keep these numbers pretty close, I'm sure it'll help level the playing field. Now, when I was in the Navy, you guys all know that I never, the closest I got to a ship was going on a tour. I was a Airedale. Spent my 24 plus years in the Navy flying and, logging many thousands of flight hours and, just doing what I did. But, I've always been fascinated with the technology that has gone into ships and targeting systems. I'm a geek, I love this kind of stuff. Well, when they had the Mighty Mo, and this was first Gulf War, when they brought her out of retirement and basically refitted her and put her to basically firing projectiles again, there was this discussion about modernizing the weapons control system on the Mighty Mo, and ultimately they decided not to. But here's some interesting things that I wasn't at all familiar with, but any of you that want to get into this, you could probably get in pretty deep. But the new USS Zumwalt, the latest destroyer now undergoing acceptance trials, comes with a new type of artillery. It's called the Advanced Gun System, AGS. Automated gun system can fire 10 rocket-assisted precision-guided projectiles per minute at targets over 100 miles away. And what happens is those projectiles use GPS and inertial guidance to improve the gun's accuracy to 50 meters. That's a 160-foot circle of probable error, meaning half of the GPS-guided shells will fall within that distance from the target. But take away the fancy GPS shells, and the AGS and its digital fire control systems are no more accurate than the mechanical analog technology that's nearly a century old. So let's back up. Again, we're talking about the electromechanical analog fire control computers like the Ford Instruments Mark 1A fire control computer and the Mark 8 Rangekeeper. Those machines solve 20-plus variable calculus problems in real time constantly long before digital computers got their sea legs. And they were still in use on the Missouri and USS Iowa in the late 1980s. So if you think about that, so the Iowa and the Missouri was capable of taking a 2,700-pound Volkswagen. I'm listening outside. Something's going on. 2,700-pound dumb shell. You pack a bunch of explosive powder behind it. You just, you point, aim, and the computers, again, this analog computer, does a calculation and puts this shell on target 30 miles inland with a circle probable error of 80 meters. And some of the shells had circles of destruction larger than that. So if you think about this 2,700-pound dumb shell that's got this analog computer that's figuring out 20-some calculus variables, ships rolling, moving, they bring the barrel up, pull the trigger, and by the time that shell exits the end of the gun breech, it's on its way to hit a target of some 80 meters up to 31 miles away. And here we move ahead, essentially 100 years in technology, and this new AGS, while it can have a rapid fire of 10 rocket-assisted precision guidance projectiles per minute at targets over 100 miles away, it still only has a 50-meter circle of probable error. So sometimes all the money that they spend really doesn't give them that much more gain and an advantage. Now, there's definitely the range is much, much longer, 100 miles, and the fire rate is much, much faster, but it does make you go, just a little bit, doesn't it? It goes to show you that the old technology, which is, pretty advanced technology even for its time, is pretty cool. So great article on this. There's a 3-pager that if you want to get into the nuts and bolts of it, I think you should. I think it'd be one of those things like, these guys that designed this stuff so many years ago were absolute geniuses of their time to come up with these gunnery solutions. You think about a ship in the water, it's moving. The sea state's moving the ship around, and all that's got to be adjusted for because it's just a little bit off. And what's going to happen? This thing's going to end up completely out of the ballpark. So I think it's pretty cool. I really do. Of course, being an Airedale guy, he just, he put a laser on target and boom. So anyway, very cool. All right, let's talk about some announcements by Apple. Really 7 years out from the original iPhone introduction and really 4 years past the iPad's launch. And, the iPad was such an evolution itself. I can't even think about leaving the house anymore without my iPad. That's how much I've come to rely on it. But Apple has found its next market ripe for reinvention. It's the mobile healthcare and fitness tracking industry. So Apple has plans for dramatically transforming the mobile healthcare and fitness space. Everything from doing blood work, heart rates, hydration levels, blood pressure, your activity, what you're doing for nutrition, blood sugar, sleep, respiratory rate, O2 saturation, your weight. All this stuff is going to be stored kind of on, basically, they're going to be tracking you the same way they would track you for a flight, and have all this information really at the flick of a wrist or a thumb. So we'll see where this leads, and I imagine it's going to amount to a number of new products for them to actually make this happen. Do the blood sugar in under 5 minutes with some sort of device, some sort of analyzer. It won't be the phone itself, but it will be probably some accessories that go along with it. So I'm excited to see what Apple's going to come out with here as time goes on. All right, next topic up is over from The Verge. Microsoft Office for iPad will be unveiled this month. They're saying March 27th is the date. So we're 10 days away from essentially getting Office to the iPad. Pretty exciting stuff. So that's the date that's being rumbled about. So we'll see as time goes on. There's a new online platform that wants to take on YouTube. So, this is not a surprise, but makes you go, just a little bit. Wonder PL is a new video platform for lifestyle content that launched on March 13th. And they're taking a direct aim at YouTube and Vimeo while hoping to capitalize on the soaring popularity of online videos, backed by Universal Music Group. And again, I tell you, anytime I hear about them, I don't know if I want to be involved with anything they're doing. It's Universal Music Group, called Quam Ventures. Former executive Pascal Cagini and Andrew Crichton, presidents of Vice Media. Wonder features topics from wellness to food to entertainment targeting women. So they say that we want to be the Whole Foods of video. The big difference is Wonder's going after brands and content creators such as the National Film Board of China and chef Tom Akins. Wonder's going to charge an annual fee of $300 for its members to use the platform and upload video. So Wonder PL, and I haven't been to the site yet. If you want to go check it out, let me know what you think. Please do. Dyson, have you got a one of those bladeless heaters? If you do, they're recalling all of them. So just AM04 and the AM05 are being recalled. They're going to replace them with new units. They've got about 1 million units they have to recall. Apparently, there's some sort of fire hazard. So if you have a Dyson bladeless heater, AM04 or AM05, I'll have this up for you in the show notes to take a look at. If you bought a new Mac Pro and you wanted to install Boot Camp on it and install Windows 7, sorry. Boot Camp users are stuck with Windows 8 with the new Mac Pro and using Boot Camp. I always wondered about some things on YouTube. I always wondered if there was super users. Well, it appears that YouTube has an elite group that hunts and kills content. According to the folks over at The Verge, there's a number of super flaggers who receive a powerful bonus privilege where they are able to flag up to 20 videos at once for an expedited screening process. This is from the report on the Financial Times last week, revealed that the British authorities are among those super flaggers, and they're constantly scouring the video site for extremist propaganda. Today, the Wall Street Journal went into deeper detail on the program, though it turns out governments play a smarter role than you might think. Roughly 200 people and organizations are included in the pool of trusted flaggers. The journal says that less than 10 of those slots are filled by government agencies. Rather, the vast majority of individuals spend a lot of time flagging videos that may violate YouTube's community guidelines. I bet you these folks aren't getting paid anything, and they're doing all this work. I bet you they're doing this work for free. Why would you do that? Why would you waste your time, effort, your money? I fully don't understand, when a company is perfectly capable of paying salaries, why they would do that. All right, let's talk about an Airbnb experience that wasn't very good for the owner. An apartment owner has freaked out over an Airbnb XXX Freak Fest. A New York comedian rents his apartment out on Airbnb. When he returns, he discovers he's been host to large people doing allegedly adult things and wrecking his apartment. Apparently $80,000 worth of damage. He was evicted almost immediately. Had whatever furniture it wasn't broke thrown into a back alley. Airbnb's not messing around. The company sent a locksmith over, put him up in a hotel, and wired him $23,000 all within 24 hours. And they're going to continue to work with him and make sure he gets moved into a new apartment. And if he has additional stuff that's been broke or damaged, to get that fixed and replaced. But I guess someone decided to have a party of sorts in this Airbnb rented apartment. I just cannot even imagine coming home to, for better word, a group of naked people. It just would not be good. There's a pretty cool video of a quadcopter capturing footage of an active volcano, and just goes to show you what some of these quadcopters can do. And the quadcopter basically escaped undamaged, which was good. If you are following this Malaysia airline controversy, I don't know if it's a crash or a hijacking or some evil plot, or if it's just this, they just haven't been able to find the wreckage, or however this is working out. Be careful out there. Don't click that link. Viral Facebook post with shocking video of Malaysia Airlines MH370 are a scam and loaded with malware. So be aware. There's phishing and all kinds of stuff going on with this. So don't click on something if it looks like it's something that is fresh and exciting. It may be just a way to scam you into having your computer hacked. It's being rumored Amazon video streaming device is arriving next month. Of course, Amazon's trying to compete against the Roku, the Apple TV, and the Chromecast. Did I say that right? Amazon is trying to compete against the Roku, Apple TV, and Chromecast. And according to the report, it will start selling its streaming device from its site in early April, as well as through some retailers like Best Buy and Staples. The device will hook into Amazon's own streaming video service, as well as from third parties like Netflix and Hulu. According to the journal, it will also run a specialized version of Android so that users can install extra apps just like the company does on its Kindle tablets. So this is continues to percolate. We'll see what the price of this is when it finally does get on the street. Just another device that you'll have to have. Spitballs is telling me in the chat room that there's a petition at whitehouse.gov to keep U.S. in control of ICANN, and he's going to send me a link for it for the next show. So definitely we'll have that available. Facebook, of course, I ranted a little bit on the last show about Zuckerberg calling the president, right? Well, apparently Facebook is working on facial verification. Now, why do they need facial verification? They say that Facebook's facial verification is approaching the quality of human performance. So makes me wonder a little bit why, and why they want to do this. What are they going to be doing? Are they going to be looking at pictures to do tagging? Is that what they're going to do? Are they going to, does that mean if I'm in a crowd of people and someone snaps a picture and they didn't mean to take me, but I happen to be in the picture, that Facebook is going to tag that with my name and let me know about it? Facebook gets about 350 million photos uploaded by users each day. I don't necessarily want to be flagged in all the pictures I'm seen in. That's kind of scary, isn't it? So we'll see where this one goes, folks. But privacy, there is no privacy. Now, I had to read this like 3 times to make sure I heard this correctly. Nancy Pelosi, of course, we all know who Senator Nancy Pelosi is. She responded to something that Senator Dianne Feinstein, I'm not necessarily a big fan of either of these two ladies, called out the CIA for spying on her staffers. And apparently Representative Nancy Pelosi was asked to comment and give what might be the most, and basically she gave what might be the most revealing comments to date. She says, "I salute Senator Feinstein," Pelosi said at her weekly news conference of the chairwoman of the Senate Intelligence Committee. "I'll tell you, you take on the intelligence community, you're a person of courage." And she does not do that lightly, not without evidence. And when I say evidence, documentation of what it is that she is putting forth. Representative Pelosi added that she has always fought for checks and balances on the agency and its interaction with Congress. She goes on to say in a quote, "You don't fight it without a price because they come after you and they don't always tell the truth." That kind of makes you go, a little bit, doesn't it? So that makes you go, just a little bit. But it does go to show that maybe senators and representatives are just a little bit leery of that particular agency. Or as they like to say, OGA, other government agency. But just to have her make that quote, it's pretty revealing if you ask me. Now, for those of you down in Australia, Australian alternative, you see, as soon as you say Australia, you just want to kind of go with the change your voice a little bit. And I don't know why, but it's the same way. You go to the UK, you where you're at, you feel your voice adapting very quickly. I guess because you want to fit in, but this is just a news story. But an Australian the Australian Attorney General wants to make it a criminal offense to not turn over private encryption keys. So they're basically saying that they want legislation that make it a criminal offense. That if you're told to turn over a PEK, that you have to. And if you don't, you're going to go in the pokey. So this is an interesting move by the Australian Attorney General. We'll see if he gets any legs on this thing. All right, I have to share with you guys. I've got a friend who's been experimenting with this, and I think it's a little crazy, and I think it's a little dangerous. So, brain hacking. You guys heard about this? We talked a little bit about this on a earlier show. We know that a lot of people are experimenting in their homes and building rigs to send current through their heads. Now, I'm going to be just kind of straight up here. I have a hard enough time keeping all the brain cells I've got, and I just can't imagine hooking something to my head that is pushing electricity through it. That to me is very, very scary because your brain is like, it's got neurons. It's this is how we live, and how to fine tune your brain from your basement to me seems incredibly stupid. And I've told my friend this as well. I tell him I think he's an idiot for doing it. We know that there have been studies that have resulted in some fascinating effects dependent upon electrode location and the amount of stimulation. Faster learning, better math skills, improved memory, more creativity. But the thing is it really doing that, or are you giving your brain like this electrical boost that will wear off with time, and then you have to go get hooked up again? I just think that this, if you have a professional doing this, that's one thing. A scientist that knows what the heck he's doing is basically doing studies, and but just to do it in your home, I don't know. I'd love to hear your guys' thought on this. Are you guys doing any brain hacking? Are you giving yourself a little jolt with electricity when you're hooked up to this stuff? I just think that's really incredibly dangerous. I really, really do. Government has not gotten good results on its transparency claims. We all expect the government to be a little more open, but last year they were at their worst. So things are not necessarily getting better. It looks like they're tightening up information, which is kind of surprising considering all the claims they made that it's going to be opened up more. There's you guys remember this CTO? We talked about him a little bit, Anesh Chopra. Well, former U.S. CTO Anesh Chopra is going to be advising Box on electronic medical records. Cloud file storage site Box announced that it tapped the country's first chief technology officer, Anesh Chopra. I pronounced it if I named his. I apologize if I named it. I can't speak the English language tonight. Jeez. Anyway, I apologize if I pronounced it incorrectly. So I don't know if I would be wanting to announce that I have been working with my team. He didn't ever really impress me too much. But he's going to be helping the folks out over at Box. So we'll see how they survive his advice. If you live in Seattle, Seattle City Council has approved a cap on Lyft, Uber X, and sidecar drivers. After nearly a year of deliberation, Seattle City Council voted Monday 9-0 to enforce new legislation that will regulate app-based transportation companies, UberX, Lyft, and Sidecar. These companies will be allowed 150 cars on the road at any given time. That means Lyft can have 150 drivers at one time during the day or night. Same goes for Sidecar and UberX or any other similar transportation network. So that's an interesting move here. If Lyft had 151 drivers on the streets, it would be illegal. The companies haven't revealed how many active drivers they have on average, but there are about 3,000 total drivers between the three of them. It's just more protectionism, trying to protect the taxi folks. That's what's going on here. 150 car cap. And it just seems like more insanity by people trying to basically stifle innovation. That's for sure. Over on Engadget, they got a cool video on the inflation. I should have had this up front, so let me move this to the front of the stack here. And I'll have that, the show notes. The video is really, really cool, so take some time to review it. I've told you guys before about Line. My wife uses Line a lot, but Line is now available to do cheap voice services. Line Call is now live for Android users of the messaging app in eight markets. United States, Mexico, Colombia, Peru, Spain. See, that's 5. How come there's 9 on the list here? Thailand, China, Japan, and the Philippines. That 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 9. That's not 8. Why do they have that? That's weird. Anyway, so there's going to be 8 or 9 markets. And the first people to get Line will, of course, be the Android users in 8 or 9 markets. So you're going to be able to download version 4.1 to access the service. And just for a couple cents a minute, landline calls start at 2 cents per minute. U.S., Mexico, Peru, Spain, and China when it comes, you can see it's about 12 cents. Philippines mobiles calls range from 4 cents to 15 cents. So it looks like it's going to be pretty cheap to use Line to make calls. Line's cheap voice service, again, now live for Android users. I've been talking to Rob on the New Media Show when he came on last time. He's been staying at Airbnb places since he has been down in Los Angeles working for Podcast One. And so I've been following a little bit more about what's going on with Airbnb. But it appears Airbnb is got some major plans to expand this year. And they might even be able to, at some point here in the near future, be able to book you a standard hotel room versus just a regular apartment or house of someone's. So they are trying to make everything travel negotiable through them, which is kind of cool. So a good article on Airbnb and some of the stuff that they've got planned. It's a pretty extensive article over on fastcompany.com. Again, I'll have the link up in the show notes for you. Hey, if you work for the government, if you've got a computer running Windows XP, after April 8th, it will be vulnerable to hackers because there will no longer be any support. How many of you in the government out there have a Windows XP machine still? Love to hear from you if you do. Have you been upgraded to Windows 7 or Windows 8 or anything like that? Where have they been pushing you guys into upgrades? Drop me an email. All right, you guys know remember this guy that hacked Miss Teen USA's 2013 computer and basically turned her webcam on and took some snaps, inappropriate snaps? Well, this guy has been prosecuted. And actually, he pled guilty to 1 count of computer hacking and 3 counts of extortion. And how many years is he getting in the can here? He's getting how much time? He's been sentenced to 18 months in prison over that. And so they're starting to go after these people who are doing this type of stuff. It's nice to see that he was caught, prosecuted, and put in jail. Definitely hacking some young lady's a computer and turning the webcam on and snapping pictures is not cool, and is ultimate. It's just the whole peeping Tom thing taken to a whole new level. Hey, if you use Feedly or if you have a LiveScribe, you can now send your saved stuff to OneNote, and I guess OneNote is going to be free now. So if you haven't used OneNote before, definitely go out and grab it. This is going to be cool now that we're going to be able to use OneNote to tag stuff. So I might have a new way to do the show here. Basically, my show layout in the next week or so. So I'll be testing this a little bit as time goes on. Hey, I want to just talk about a little bit about a service that Walmart's bringing online. And to be honest with you, I didn't know that Walmart did as big of a booming business of video game stuff as they did. But Walmart is going to be having a used game trade-in program. It's going to open on March 26th. So Walmart is following Best Buy and Amazon and, of course, GameStop and taking trades of used games. And it will start accepting your old games on March 26th in exchange for store credit usable at Walmart and Sam's Club, whether in store or online. So that's kind of cool. So watch out, GameStop. Got a little competition in the space right now. That's for sure. All right, last couple of articles before we get into the email here. Popular Mechanics has an article about the world's first bionic plant. Pretty slick. This is interesting what they've done here. And this is done by a team of MIT scientists. But they basically used nanotubes and integrated them into the leaves of several lab plants. And they were able to markedly enhance each plant's ability to perform photosynthesis by creating the world's first bionic plant. They increased the plant's light absorption by 30%. That's an interesting development for sure. Don't know how well the plant survived the implantation of this, but they say it is the world's first bionic plant. And final news tonight, breakthrough in hydrogen production provides the cheapest fuel source, game changer for the global energy market. This is out of Menlo Park, California, or Silicon Valley. SolarHydrogenTrends.com announced a breakthrough in hydrogen production that will revolutionize the energy market with the world's least expensive fuel source, hydrogen. Their invention is the world's first reactor for the production of unlimited hydrogen and provides clean fuel that can be generated anywhere across the globe. So I don't know if this is true or not, if they've made some breakthroughs here, but we'll keep an eye on this one as well. This could turn out to be a lot of nothing. Only time will tell based upon this thing getting vetted. All right, let me go ahead and look at the show notes. Don't think there was too many emails. And today is the 17th. Got an email from Jeff. He says, hey, according to a report from the Wall Street Journal, Microsoft and Google are both out to stifle any device that doesn't have a firm allegiance to either Android or Windows. The report says that both companies have told Asus to end its dual OS product lines and that Asus is complying. The Wall Street Journal says Asus' new dual boot boot product, the Transformer book Duet TD300, which has been talked about quite a bit, will never see the light of day. ASUS all-in-one PCs, a Transformer AIO P1801 and P1802 apparently is going to get the whack as well. So, Jeff, thank you for that link. Got an email from Brian, or excuse me, from Brad. He says, Mabuhay, Todd. Boy, that's Tagalog. Mabuhay, Todd. How ironic that Mr. Zuckerberg doesn't like it when the government analyzes metadata, preventing terrorism when Zuck makes billions mining subscriber data and continually changing hopes for escaping his widening collection efforts. Mr. Pot, meet Mr. Kettle. And Brad, thanks for your email. Are you in the Philippines right now? Are you mainland side? Drop me a link, Brad. All right. We already know about the Amazon price increase. Talked about that on the last show. I think this is it for tonight's podcast. Let me make sure nothing has come in quickly here. Yeah, Robert's got this link here for the White House Gov petition to keep control of ICANN in the United States. So I'll put that up in there tonight. Robert, thanks for sending that over. And then I think that's it, though. All right, we're going to wrap up here. Everyone, thanks for tuning in. We're getting you out kind of early today. I hope you enjoyed the show. Lots going on in the space. And, of course, we'll have some announcements for you on Thursday and who's going to be on the new media show this upcoming Saturday. And lots more announcements coming. So, everyone, thanks for being here. We'll see you next time. Everyone, take care. And aloha. All right, we're going to shut some recordings down. All right. Actually, I had a wave of, wanting to yawn hit me here, so good time to be wrapped up. All right, those of you on YouTube, we'll see you next time.